Well, after the fun and festive times that we had in the previous OVA, I'm pretty sure that there's nothing of the sort going to be seen in this one. ReZero is known for its less than optimistic take on destiny and what life has in store for its characters. And since it's an OVA, it's probably going to stray a little from the usual storyline. But what exactly will it cover? Quite a few things, I can imagine. Whether it being more on the history of Rem and Ram, what's going on with Roswell, checking up a bit more on Emilia, or maybe, I don't know, seeing what Beetle Guys does on his day off. But if you're excited for that, stick around, because once we're over with the OVA, we're into Season 2. And I have definitely been anticipating it. So strap in, get yourself a drink. Today I've actually only got like a single mouthful left, so... But let's get going. Katakawa. Starting off with narration. There are times when things start off with some sort of narration and text description on the start, and it's not usually the best way to captivate anyone. Okay, this is more like a first reveal. Are they going to escape this unscathed? That's an odd pattern on her clothes there. Unless she just hasn't washed them in a while. Take this time to run away? Well, if he had time to savour well, she didn't do too well, did she? Delayed effect from her attacks, or is there more behind the scenes? Oh. Yeah, that would do it. I mean, well, I've heard of having a blood clot, but... Oh. And even after you've just rescued someone, yeah, the pure fear from the name itself. Well, they should have just accepted the saviour then, shouldn't they? They got away and lived a happy life. Just tell yourself that. I'm guessing this is early on in the ReZero storyline. There has been a lot about how she resembles the Witch of Envy. What was the name that she gave? That when she first met Subaru, so telling her name was Satalia. So is it going into that? Or was that a flashback? Was that carrying on from the snow statues that they made during the festival? Damn it, Subaru! So yes, it is a continuation, but probably going back in time to relive whatever. But being in a world full of magic and powers like this, it's going to be difficult to control all of it. Like, how do you imagine if a baby just starts spouting off fireballs? They were in the forest, not in the courtyard. Why were they all? Huh? There's someone out there just making statues of Emilia everywhere. Ah, so that's what Subaru spends his time doing. It's not a bad self-fashioned little home, is it? It's kind of furnished relatively well for being in a hollowed out tree or cave. Ah, tree. So she's more like a wood elf at the minute. I would want at least some foot wrappings before going out in the snow. They are incredibly well done for like snow sculptures, ice sculptures, and whatnot. And it goes with her character that she'd be taking care of them. Ah, she's gonna have to go out and gather. Try to reintegrate herself a little bit to sell her wares to get some food. Run, children, it's the evil witch. Just. If she handles herself with decorum, at least while she's making a transaction, there's no reason to be mean about it. Attentive shopkeeper. Same design, same size. Nice. I used to congratulate myself like that. Luckily, I'm a bit less of a complete wreck when talking to people now. Puck? Yeah. Noticing when she gets new things, Puck's doing quite well. You've got to be attentive with a maiden. It's a step in the right direction, I guess. There's the usual greetings, then small talk. Considering her main source of conversation are spirits or maybe the statues. I was. I was going to question if Emilia herself made them, but I don't think she's the type to just make things like that. Especially since we saw her skill in the last OVA. So we are getting a rundown tragic backstory. I wonder how drafty that little tree hovel would be. Bit of a dramatic way of disappearing. Can't say I'd act any differently if I was a spirit, though. Surprisingly, a lot of light considering it's only from a single stove and a candle. I don't envy time before electric lighting. It's a kind of strange simile, but what are those little ice stones? Like condensed ice mana or something? Hopefully, a better naming convention than some fantasy creations. Like the Bog of Despair. How many times have we heard something like that? didn't do his usual routine. It's almost like calling out to your invisible friends and realise that they've already left you. Yeah, be careful of forest fires. It has been a very, very, very long time since I've had nightmares. Must mean that I'm, some sort of mentally stable at the minute. Yeah, that little fireball was definitely a precursor. Even if they offer you some sweets or something. This is a warning. If it was meant as a barricade, it's not really stopping anything. And if it was all brought down due to the rampaging of a beast. What kind of posture is that? He'd have bad back later in life. I don't think these guys are the warning that Puck was on about. Why do these slave trader trafficker types always have to be arseholes as well? I don't think they have very much in the way of like a power level. And we've seen the damage that both Puck and Emilia can cause. Unfortunately, we're long before that. So. Well, the fact that she looks like the Witch of Envy. Put them. Put them on the back foot a little. What, you'll get more money now? If she was actually the Witch of Envy, I don't think they would get off very easily. Wow. She actually has some skill to be able to catch I'm guessing a crossbow bolt. That guy is laughably evil. Does she realise? Yep. Well, looks like the cage isn't going to be of much use. I'm sure she can just leave now and everything will be fine. The villagers aren't in danger, at least. Splat. Oh, actually, splat. Well, that's not too bad. It's just snow. What happened to that composure he had a minute ago? How many of these ape things are there in this forest? Are we looking for another crystal burst? Oh. Okay, that was a slightly more juicy. And it always seems to emanate from any wounds that they've sustained. Yeah, he's not getting away. But is this coming from Emilia herself? I liked the stop and everything, and the slowdown and the bass just before Puck arrived. Thank you for lightening the situation. I think Puck deserves more credit in the fact that he's keeping her mental state from complete collapse. Well, that works. Eh. And that's going to be a mistake later on if any kind of stories are reminiscent of usual storytelling. Imagine being absolutely terrified of a 4-inch being. Are they gone, or in hiding gone? Did she do anything to you, though, other than just give you a bit of trade? Well, that's a little bit off her mind, at least. But where will she get her nuts if she's not allowed to shop here anymore? I guess that. I guess that small talk is going to have to be put on hold. For some reason, I really like the word Niwa. And do you realize that you escaped the witch with 0 casualties and nothing happened during all of your interactions? Of course, there was someone pulling the strings. We meet again! Probably would have a better position in the bargaining than this some random outlaw. Yeah. Puck can be a true sadist when they want to. If it keeps them out, then sure. Is it just going to. Oh, that's not ice. Vaporized, you say? Well, without a trace is. Yeah, that's good too. Are the spirits and Puck and the beasts of the east, west, north, etc. fearful of the witch? Abandoned every. So it's. She's talking about these. Well, something definitely went down. And considering Emilia's affinity with ice and Puck. Useful. And we're starting off with Emilia's spirit calling. And all I'm remembering now is that I think it was across a bridge with all of the sparkles in the background. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if she has some separation anxiety. Not again, little fire. Or what we just saw in the alleyway, not so little fire. What's with the almost robotic form of speaking? But a flaming horse versus a cute little cat. Judge, jury, and executioner, then, okay. Does it even have a way of holding a pen? But once again, it's more getting into the relation between the actual witch and Emilia. Is it every night she has this dream? Was that Puck? I think we know what happened now. Would it be worse or better knowing what happened? She's making so many spirit buddies. So even the great spirit Puck gets a little jealous. You could say that. Okay, I believe that now puts into perspective all of the ice people. A fine name. Turn around, walk away. Who would win? Some weird wolfy chimera boy or Gloop? Gloop. Rimuru, what are you doing in this story? I wouldn't have been standing there for very long. Is it okay now? Apparently so. Okay. The black serpent's poison itself. What, gain some sort of sentience? Splat. Then there was a lot more of it out there, just... Yep. Puck, can you do something in her stead? You know that's not the issue here. Her overbearing kindness is the same amount of problem as completely ignoring those around her would be. There needs to be some sort of middle ground. It's good that it would be easily tracked with the snow. You lie too much. Puck would be a great partner to have in charades. Yeah, it seems things are going well. This is definitely a different pace than the other OVA. She now has a snowboard. Okay. Just picture all of the ways this could have gone wrong if it was Subaru doing this. Is that more of the liquid? Yeah, I can see why Puck needs to expel mana now, having used to do stuff like this on a daily basis. Great. Yep, one way of putting it. This might be a little bit out of her hands, though. But it won't stop her from trying. That's the kind of character that Emilia is. She's the type to get involved to a fault. That's the darkest avalanche I've ever seen. Yeah, that much isn't going to slow it down. It kind of makes me remember the flood thing from, I think it's Princess Mononoke. You say that. You see, why couldn't you have done that from the beginning? Puck's not going to be there to calm her down. Aha. What was that a little glimpse of? I saw the flash freeze of the people around her, and then someone in purple robes. Are the spirits just noping out? I suppose, yeah. I don't like that dash. I was right not to like that dash. Wait, what? Damn that little red glowy boy. Yeah, it's not the horse. Oh, for fuck's sake. See, what did I say? Things will just come back to bite them in the butt. Sure. You know, you can just ignore it and actually have a normal life. But sure, have your body taken over by a fire horse. Why not? So when I said laughably evil, I think I was right. If this is like part of the fire horse's thing of trying to get Emilia to prove that she is an evil witch, it's kind of like a false, self-fulfilling prophecy. I'll destroy your life and everyone around you until you get angry and react, therefore proving you're evil. It's like forcing a confession under duress. Please actually get a little bit into the whole half elf relation to the witch, etc. And was that Betelgeuse, or was it just another like member of the cult? If they're all in the forest, is there some like frozen old elf homes as well? Like a little marketplace of ice. Thank you for explaining that exposition then. Holding her guilty without any evidence because they just admitted they don't know anything. Well, when you attach a name like the Witch of Envy, having it be a sin is kind of. Judge her on her own actions. But when that arbiter can't abide by the proper process. Puck, help. Good. If she didn't call out, though, was Puck gonna step in? We've seen what happens when when Emilia gets... Well, it wasn't hurt, it was killed. The world goes to hell. Thanks to a little fluffy furball. You might be right, but does that really count in this moment? In a battle of power, how much does cute and fluffy matter in the ratings? Your hubris was your downfall. How do you freeze fire? What was Puck holding? Yeah, your little analogy didn't work. Clap. Is there going to be a rule of three, though? Because he squished and splattered the ice thing now with the fire. Depends on the question. Well, that much is kind of obvious, but as for the ramifications of what that means... Half elf and half... what? Your blood itself... Well, actually, I can't say it means nothing, because there are other shows I'm watching where their blood actually controls who and what they are. Even if it can be repressed. I did not see that coming. Orbital bombardment. There was more than one. Seeing Puck's just limp fall onto the floor, that hurt. I'm not entirely sure on the purpose of this arbiter and judge. I mean, I get the general concept, but is it like we're all Stop the destruction of Earth through any means necessary, including destroying the Earth. Angry. But yeah, once again, they took too long talking. Is just looking like someone proof of reincarnation, though? No, as I said, self-fulfilling. Screw fate. Who is the narrator? Not quite the same as the other frozen elves. Apparently, Puck's a believer in being the arbiter of their own destiny. Okay. Using their own personality traits against them. Very nice, but what a better place to form a contract in the middle of a ring of fire. Separation anxiety. And an abandonment complex. It just makes Emilia as a character just more tragic. And where would she have been if she hadn't have had Puck as a first point of contact? Also, you don't have to sign a contract or anything for this actual contract. Well then. He has arrived. East of the End. If it was east. Might have just misread it. Does Puck still win in being cute and fluffy? Although if I was asked, I don't think I could disagree to his face. Why, why does it sound like Puck is a Dark Souls boss with this music? But she doesn't know what that means or is. Before they were frozen, how did the other elves treat her? But she has someone to rely on now. Now. Yep. And hold on to that identity. Onto the second phase. Sure. Try not to raise any more flags, though. This is how you portray a final judgment between two great spirits. Come up, just you died. There's quite a few things you wouldn't be able to see. Well, to avoid annihilation is one thing, probably. So under a previous contract, that just adds more questions, doesn't it? Will that be explained later on? At least there's lots of those little pretty crystals to sell. Tuck those claws away. Probably a more comfortable bed using that little pad than what she was in the tree. Yeah. Not explaining why you're apologising, though. Yeah, apparently some spirits don't have the best of lives. Seems par for the course for this world, though. Aren't there going to be any records of this big scene or battle, like in the capital? Like, oh yeah, there was a massive explosion of ice and fire in the forest. Did she say it in so many words, or is it just more of what she doesn't remember? Oh, there is a lot to. There's probably a lot in those little quick flashes. Yeah, brush the snow off. Being a bit literal, I guess. Do spirits have names just like by default, or are they given to them from the first kind of contract that they make? She's got no real reason to decline. So that nightmare just needed a little more context. You've been spacing out for 48 seconds so far. Probably longer than that. I just. Oh yeah, Leah. Don't break your promises, Puck. So, still holding strong to the sense of Japanese social interaction. Still doesn't have an easy source of food, though. There's a large crater. And I'm just going to assume that they stopped all aspects of that serpent venom thing. So another side story, not really explaining, but giving a little more insight into Emilia's awakening. And why exactly she has Puck as a familiar. Although there's still more questions that have been raised. Why was Puck there? What happened immediately before the freezing? What contract was Puck under? What is the actual connection between Satalia, Emilia, the Witch of Envy? And why does this world put so much emphasis on, like, people's names and titles? At least, well, I say at least, there were quite a few good backdrop landscape scenes in this. They did the best they could with basically just everything being snowy every scene. But is that life-sucking ice crystal going to be used at any point in the actual ReZero storyline season things? And Emilia having to have self-control and actually containing her own abilities. You know, because Emilia herself has been presented as being somewhat capable with magic and being able to speak with spirits and get the power from them. But there's more going on. Unless it was Puck doing it entirely in the background. But there's probably many a time where guilt by association, just because preconceptions, we can't affiliate ourselves with you. That kind of interactions throughout, well, ReZero, but also history. After credits. That's why you stick through credits. I wonder if she ever thinks about those few spirits that had an accident. Did they not notice that she was standing there? We don't get to see it. They might hold a a meaning behind it, but she's not going to tell you. But the fact that Subaru actually went through the process of fixing the statue. Yeah, get back to work. But whoever built that one, it is uncannily close to the one that she kept looking after with the kid in the middle. Well, it is just a snow sculpture. You don't really know the how hard his words can hit, really, sometimes. Yep, he manages to stumble across the right thing every now and again. Ah, he was just chilling on the roof. Okay. You see, this like an hour and a quarter long OVA could have easily been condensed down to a 25-minute episode, but it would have lost a lot of the isolation, the feeling of Emilia basically being alone, and everything that implies. But another thing about this OVA is that it reinforces the fact that there are creatures out there, much like the whale, that can erase your presence from history itself, that kind of are a bit unfair. And what does that hold for the future? And the more I see it, the more I feel as though I'm the odd one out, because I'd like to believe that I would withhold judgment and my actions based on some loose collection of what people say about someone. But in a world where, yeah, magic and death lies around every corner, maybe it's fair enough to have a little bit more caution. But if you enjoyed that OVA and want to see more of your, well, everyone's favourite furry father figure, then leave a like on the video and maybe subscribe, because there is more ReZero to be coming in the future. Mainly Season 2. It might be something to keep an eye out for. Because, well, I can say with a little bit of certainty that it's not really going to have the same upbeat, chirpy tune as these OVAs, because it's probably going to follow Subaru, and we know what that entails. So, you may want to get yourself ready, take a long, hard rest, but come back for more. I'll be waiting.